So very similar to feature and component-based teams, right? Very similar is a concept of T-shaped people and I-shaped people, right? When we talk about T-shaped people, we call them generalizing specialists. We call them generalizing specialists. That's what we call them, right? And these people have multiple skill sets, right? They have multiple skill sets. They have multiple skill sets and they can swarm on task, right? Can you guys hear me? Can you
We
guys hear me?
lost you. We lost you. We lost you twice at some point.
Yeah,
Oh,
You're
breaking.
going in, yeah, in and out. And
oh, sorry, sorry about that. So I was saying that when it comes to T-shaped people, they are called generalizing specialists, right? They are called generalizing specialists. And why we call them generalizing specialists is because they have one particular skill, but they can do other skills, right? That's why here it says have many skills. But one of them is their core skill. That's why it's a T-shape. There's one core skill, but they have other skills, right? Now, T-shaped people can swarm on task because they have multiple skills. They can go and assist, right? They can assist their other team members. And that means T-shaped people are the ones you need for featured teams, right? Because they are the ones that can assist their colleagues. I-shaped people are people that are specialists in just one area, and that means they have a narrow skill set. And they are going to wait for handoff. One person should finish their task and before they get to do work. So if you're managing a Scrum team, it's better your Scrum team is made up of T-shaped people than I-shaped people. Now, I'll give you an example. So there's someone I trained in Scrum many years ago. I trained her in Scrum many years ago. And while she was talking about our team, she said their sprints are 6 weeks. Their sprints are 6 weeks long. What do you think about that? When your sprint is 6 weeks long, in terms of Scrum, is it ideal?
Nah, not ideal at all.
Okay. Now, so we were like, why are your, why are your sprints 6 weeks? Was when we got to this part of the slide that it all became clear. Our team was made up of I-shaped people, which means for them to produce anything, it took a long time because they were handing over. The UI UX developer will hand over to the front end. Front end will hand over to the back end. Back end will hand over to the tester. So because they were all I-shaped, for them to, show work done, it took a very long time. But if you have T-shaped people, they can collaborate on task and work through and build tasks faster. So it was when we now discovered that all our team members are specialists. We now understood why their sprint took a long time. So I asked her, when the UI UX developer is doing is doing their work. What does the front-end engineer do? And back-end engineer and tester said they won't be doing anything. That's that was like that means that she's not using the efficiency of the whole team, right? So nobody can swarm on task. We just have to wait for someone to finish before the other person can do their work. So when you have more of I-shaped people, you can have bottlenecks. So here we have people that design, two designers. We have people that develop, but only one person tests. And because of that, no matter how much effort the people designing and developing do, they're constrained by the tester. But let's say they were T-shaped. Some developers could have gone to assist the tester and make things faster. So if you're managing a team, it's best that your team is T-shaped, not I-shaped, right? And what you do as a Scrum Master, if you discover that your team is I-shaped, then recommend, talk to management that they should go on training. Let them have more skills. Let them go for training to improve their skills so that they can do multiple things. Now, when you build a team, we have team development lifecycle. And this represents the different stages of you building a team to the point where the team starts performing. This is also known as Tuckman's ladder. Tuckman's ladder. So, what does it, where do we start from? We start from the forming stage. Now, I'm going to use football as an example. So, in football, where do you start from? You form a team. Like, let's say Nigeria is going for the World Cup. The first thing we do is form the team. How do we form the team? We look for people to play different positions and then we form the team. That's the first stage. The second stage is storm. Now, don't forget, these people you formed are coming from different backgrounds. They are not used to working with each other. And so, naturally speaking, there's going to be a storm. There's going to be issues because they're not used to working with each other. They have different backgrounds, uh, values also. There's going to be a storm. Now, after some time, they'll start normalizing. Then they perform after they now normalize, they perform. So look at this scenario. When you're forming your team, you want to form a team for the World Cup, Nigeria. You're going to scout local-based players and foreign-based players. You're going to go to Shooting Stars of Ibadan, El Kanami Warriors. You're going to go to Lone Rangers of Port Harcourt, right? You're going to scout for people that can play the different positions. That's forming. Storming, because they are coming from different clubs, and of course, you're going to go to Serie A, you're going to go to Premiership, you're going to go to La Liga and other clubs, Turkey, other clubs. And then you form your team made up of people from different countries, different backgrounds. And that's what causes storm. Because while they're rehearsing, some people on that team, their salary per week is another team member's salary per 6 months, or 1 year. So when they start practicing together, there's going to be a natural storm. It could be that the way they practice is even different. Then, if they can pass a storm, they start getting used to each other. The person from Everton is saying, this shooting stars of Ibadan guy is not bad. Look at how he's dribbling. Everybody starts getting used to each other in the normal stage. It is when everybody normalizes that they can start performing. But in Scrum and Agile, adjourning is not considered as part of Scrum teams. Why? Why don't Scrum teams adjourn? Because in Scrum, you can keep improving your product forever. Think about it. Sprint by sprint, you can keep improving your product forever. So we don't see like waterfall projects where when you complete the project, that's it, the team can now go back to where they came from. In agile projects or Scrum, the product is ongoing. What I mean by this, think about WhatsApp. Since they built WhatsApp, they've still been carried on sprints for years, right? So we don't adjourn typically with Scrum, but team members may change. And when team members change, productivity is temporarily impacted. Why? Because if you have a team that is performing at this stage, the team is performing, and maybe one person leaves and another person joins, it can bring the team back to some form of storming because they need to get used to the new team members. So when team members change or you add a new team member, even though you are adding a new team member, the productivity may temporarily reduce before it improves. Why? Because adding new team members affects the team dynamics, and we can see why. Because when a new person comes, that it affects the dynamics of the team, and it might take a while before we start feeling the impact of the additional team member in our project. So when we talk about cross-functionality, I've explained this a couple of times that there must be a balance of skills. You must have everybody necessary to build software in your team. And this does not necessarily mean that you have specialists. It means that you have people whose collaborative skills are all you need to build software. You don't need anybody outside your development team in terms of skills, right? And that's what we mean by cross-functional. Every necessary skill and competency is represented in your team. And you can borrow team members, but that can be disruptive. We've explained why, because it can affect the team dynamics. And team members may change. And when team members change, when new team members are added, it can affect your productivity temporarily. So a team member doesn't have adequate skills. What should a Scrum Master do? What do you think? A team does not have adequate skills. What should a Scrum Master do? What should the Scrum Master do?
Train the available ones in areas that are lacking.
Okay. So, so if you discover a team member that is lacking some skills, you can recommend that team member for training by management. So the Scrum Master says that, look, I'll need this guy to be trained on this. So that also shows that the Scrum Master looks out for their team members, though they don't instruct or tell them what to do. They are more into coaching and facilitating. So Scrum Master should invest. Now, what happens when we have to remove people from our team? Don't forget, I said that it's the responsibility of the Scrum Master to remove impediments. Team members who are destructive or toxic can also be considered impediments. Now, I have a question in here. Who do you think has the authority to remove a team member? Who do you think has the authority to remove a team member?
I think the product owner,
Okay. Why do you say product owner?
because he's the one that interfaces with the stakeholders, the clients, and the customer, and he cannot afford to fail in delivering the product.
Okay. Okay.
I think the thing it rests on his shoulders to make sure that everything is delivered perfectly.
Okay. So remember what I said that if you have destructive team members, we can consider it an impediment. And who picks up on impediments is the Scrum Master. But when it comes to authority, the Scrum Master does not have authority to remove a team member. So what does he do? He goes to talk to management and recommend that a team member should be removed. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, someone that did our training, right, got to Canada and he became an agile coach, right?
Sorry, you are breaking. You said a friend of yours.
Yes, got into Canada and became an agile coach. And of course, was managing the team. But he noticed that a particular team member, anytime is asked to join a meeting, usually does not join or takes significant time to join the meeting, right? Now, don't forget, we've talked about Scrum values. We've talked about Scrum values. We said openness, commitment,
Focus, courage,
of course,
respect.
courage, and respect. So it noticed that this particular guy is always delaying to join meetings. It's always, he doesn't even join at time. So they had a meeting in the office and he just went to meet him and looked at the developer in the eye and says, "You are doing two jobs." He looked at the developer and said, "You are doing two jobs." And the developer was so shocked. He couldn't say no. It got him unaware. Now, how did he know I was doing two jobs? His commitment level had dropped. So he kept on joining. This is why values are very important when you're managing a team directly. You're looking out for these things. The commitment level. Is he open or is he always making excuses? Is he trying to hide something? So he just went and confronted, you're doing two jobs. And the guy was so shocked, and of course, it was so shocked. He couldn't say anything. And my friend went to meet management and said they should remove him. That is the Scrum Master's job. Now, the Scrum Master does not hire developers, neither do they fire developers. You get what I'm saying? They don't hire developers, neither do they fire developers. But when team members behave as impediments to the team, the Scrum Master has to make recommendation to management to remove those people from the team. Now, let's talk about hiring the team. And then, so who decides if the Scrum team can hire more developers? What do you think? Who decides if the Scrum team can hire more developers?
I think it's Scrum Master. This is like a recommendation, Abby.
Mm, should it be Scrum Master? Yeah, let's put heads together.
Though he won't be the one to do it, but you're what say who decides,
Yeah.
so he can recommend for it to be
Yes.
done. The way he recommended for somebody to be fired because it's an impediment, he can also recommend for someone to be hired. But
Yeah.
that might affect, if it's done in between, it might affect the team to take them back to storming, just like you said earlier.
But remember, he also correct Mike in the sense that we spoke about resource challenge.
Yeah.
So when they invent that in the course of even the forming stage, or right in the course of any of the stage in the team development, he's noticing that there is a gap. He can recommend that a certain resource should be hired.
Okay. So when we talk about hiring team members, ultimately lies on management's table. Recommendation can come from Scrum Master and product owner. Now, the product owner manages the budget. So the product owner actually knows whether they can afford more developers or not. But product owner and Scrum Master are not HR people. So they have to make their recommendations to management, and management ultimately takes on that job of hiring people. But there's something we need to know. The hiring process is not like your typical HR process. It's different because your typical HR process will involve, maybe HR guys interviewing you. But in Scrum, it is the development team, that interviews the new developer. Why do you think it's the developers? Why do you think
The skills, they have the skill set.
apart from skill sets? Yes, they
No,
want to know
because
the skill sets. That's one. But another important reason.
they are hiring who they're going to work with directly. They're going to
Ah,
be directly impacted by that person's
No
contribution.
one tells them what to do. They know what to do.
So they want to know if they can work with that person. Do you get? They want to know if the person is toxic, if they can work with the person. That's why they are the ones that will interview the new person that comes. And if the person is okay, yes. So it's the hiring process will be organized by management, but the interviews are conducted by the team because whoever is coming to join the team is going to work with them, and they have to be sure that there's a good chemistry between the team and the new person joining. So they conduct the interviews. Last question for tonight. Who decides how the development team will be organized? Last
Who
question.
decide how development team will be organized?
Yeah.
I think the product owner or no, the developer they have to organize themselves. It's the development
The
team.
Yes.
developers, the developers.
Developers,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Self
Yeah.
They have to organize
organizing
themselves.
and self management. So,
Yeah.
and I want you to understand what this means. The fact that self managing and self organizing does not mean they have a head. That means is a senior developer that tells every the junior developers what to do. That doesn't exist. They all decide on how the work will be done. They all decide on who's going to take what task. So there's no hierarchy. It's just them doing their thing. Okay, I'll take this. I think I can take this task. So you find people volunteering themselves instead of John, you're going to take this task. You're going to take. So they're self-organized, just like ants. You don't have to tell ants instructions. They know what to do. They work together to this. So they're self-organizing and self-managing. So we're going to stop here tonight. The next event we're going to talk about is the sprint review. But let me give you um, an overview so that you know that we're almost done. The sprint review happens at the end of sprint, and this is where whatever the team has created is going to be demoed, and the product owner is going to invite stakeholders, and feedback will be given on what has been created. And the final event is sprint retrospective, where the team sits down and discuss on how they can improve, how they work with each other, and how they can improve the, the entire Scrum process. And once sprint retrospective is done, we go back and start a new sprint planning. So we just have two more events. I'm sure a couple of hours next week we'll do it. Then we start looking exam-based questions. So thank you for that. We had to shorten today. We would have finished today, but I think it's also good so that we can take more questions and you know spread it a bit more. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Do have
So
a
what time next week?
let's look at 4 p.m.
Or
Let's look at
On
4 p.m.
Saturday,
can
yeah.
can we look
Yes,
at
sir.
three? And how many hours do you think we can use?
No, by in fast,
How many hours?
in 2 hours we should be done. Two, two,
So,
two, 2 hours we should be done. What we have left
so
is
can we look at
sprint review.
3 p.m.?
Um, I'm just looking. I might not be back. Okay, let's look at 3 p.m. tentatively. If I can't
Then
make
we
it, I'll
do
let you know.
then we do 2 hours. So I need to make adjustments on my scheduling. Then
Schedule.
we'll do two
Okay.
hours. How
Okay,
many
that's
hours do we do? You
we
said
can
two
do
hours can
2 hours.
cut it?
2 hours, but I'd like to take you through some questions. So
Okay.
let's say 2, 3 hours.
2, 3 hours. Okay, that's fine. Mike, is it good with you?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's fine by me.
So that's three
I'm a
three to
rookie. Eh? Anytime you put is fine by me. Oh.
okay.
12 a.m., 1 a.m.
So that's a 3 to 6. And that'll be a 9. Okay. All right.
Oh, all right.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Then
much. Yeah.
sorry, I can one more thing. Can you also add maybe in the course of the next week, can you add like the software tools that the Scrum Master uses?
Okay.
Just like how, yeah,
Would
can we
Um,
that be
maybe
the
talk about it?
radiators?
no,
Is it
no.
those radiators that,
No, no.
okay.
If you
But that one measures progress, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that tool, will be part of the software.
Yeah,
So
so if we can add it to the program next week, so we can have that feel and start getting hands-on on it too. Yeah.
okay, let's look at that. Let's look at that.
All right. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Michael, enjoy your week.